We'll look at how communities can play a role in inspiring and supporting young girls to pursue the education needed to improve their economic, social, and political power, and in turn become future leaders to help more young women and girls do the same.
Poverty as well as under-resourced education systems can really stifle the potential of children to grow their ambitions, their dreams, and to develop and thrive to be confident and active as well as fully productive people in later life.
What we see is when we can, increase political participation and leadership for women in both the political and the public life, this is really essential to achieving, the sustainable development goals.
If we are going to make these changes in this generation, there's need to collaborate. And collaboration with communities, with duty bearers, with the government, and all with other civil society organizations, and across the borders. And this is also to build understanding of the challenges, aspirations, and potential in every girl. To make sure that there's understanding of the reality of exclusion from opportunity and how that could be bridged. They participate in the political and public life. I just want to say what makes this women-led peer support network work and well-placed to protect vulnerable children is because they lived it and they are leading at the front line and they're collaborating to dismantle barriers for the next generation.
Communities benefit when we manage to keep girls in schools. So how can we keep more girls in schools through good governance? And how can keeping girls in schools support good governance?
We have examples from around the world, India, Kenya, Cambodia, Rwanda, showing that having women leading in their communities makes a difference. It drives programs and policies that can improve family and community well-being. And also, women leaders act as role models, and we have many on the call today, I know, normalising the idea and the practice of women holding power at lots of different levels and progressively changing discriminatory gender norms, which in turn leads to more female leaders. And we know this journey starts young. It starts when girls are given opportunities in school and through education.
We want young people not becoming the beneficiaries, but the active participants of the education system, because they are the first beneficiary of it. And we wanted to make sure that we engage the ideas and we engage them in planning and execution of the innovations, recognizing the expertise and lived experiences that they have.
We know that climate change often affects the most vulnerable first. And gender discrimination means that girls and young women living in poverty are often the ones paying the highest price for destroyed crops, flooded property, and other kinds of disruptions to their families' livelihoods.
Countries in sub-Saharan Africa, they might be able to talk about climate change and taking action, but they do not have the resources to come behind the actions that are needed to be able to build climate resilient infrastructure for education, for example, to safeguard communities. So it's really left to communities to become, to adopt, those strategies that will secure them.
When we just hear about climate change in general or climate action, we hear that, women and girls, they have been leading climate action and environmental movements. But when it actually comes down to the decision-making table, I read a research somewhere that mentioned that men occupy 67% of climate-related decision-making roles. So you can see that there's still this gap, and we still haven't even achieved equality in that regard. So I feel that climate justice and environmental sustainability, it depends on the leadership of women and young girls.
If we want to ensure that education leads girls and women through pathways towards leadership and decision-making positions, we have to ensure that education itself is gender transformative and creates those opportunities.
As we are facing the climate emergency, as we are navigating migration to cities, as we are navigating soil degradation and the food security issues that come along with that, thinking about investing in rural land users, helping them be where they are and be resilient where they are, giving them the resources they need, including education, to thrive where they are in their communities, is one of the answers that is most overlooked to how we address some of our biggest crises that we're facing as a species.
you.